All right, so here's what we've got going on. You're up there shooting in 1080 with the stabilization on.
Hey, Jason.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now better?
Hey, did I tell you I was in love?
I did. I think you mentioned it. I think you should add some context real quick.
Oh man, I got. Sorry, it's really bright, you guys.
Yes, it is.
I got my bike back yesterday.
Congratulations.
Had a crash. If you guys probably saw the video, crashed the bike on a dirt road somewhere, hit a tree, and
jumped out of nowhere.
Jumped out of nowhere, and finally took it in and had a bunch of stuff done. And I figured, well, while I'm getting things like the muffler replaced because it's all dented up, might as well get an upgrade. So I got the Dominator, all black.
You might have to do a separate video on your impressions of that after a couple of miles.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And of course, you'll have the video soon of when I went and had the review done, or had the work done. I talked to the owner.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Anyway,
all right. So why are we here?
We're segueing way into the weeds at this point.
Yes.
We are here because Transamerica Trail
did a hoodoo on our equipment.
Yes, it did.
Plus all the other trips that we seem to have electronic gremlins on, and so.
But that's when we got this one, right?
Yes, at the very, very, very well. Were these okay?
Yeah.
Well, let's introduce our subject here real quick.
Okay.
Sena came out with a new thing.
Yes.
We got one, and we got one on the way.
Yes.
So we're replacing the, what is that? What is the model?
Sena 10C Evo.
10C. See, you have all of the knowledge on this one. I'm just around to ask questions.
No.
All right. So 10C Evo has been around for a long time with us.
Yep. And before that, we had the 10C Pro.
Correct.
And before that, I had the 10C.
Yes, that's true.
In fact, you can probably put a little screenshot up, but we've got reviews of all of those. And we've had every iteration of this particular product from Sena. And we finally decided to get the 10C, the 50C.
Right.
Which is the replacement for the 10C Evo.
Brand new.
Brand new.
So tell me then, in an elevator pitch, and then we can go through it really quickly and you can tell me about the buttons and whatnot. Tell me in an elevator pitch why I should spend all of the money replacing my, not counting the bad battery, it doesn't keep the charge, and no stabilization, and it sounds kind of funky, and what is the reason I should, besides those things?
We'll get into those things because those are important factors in determining whether you should upgrade or not.
Right. What's the big thing for you?
In my opinion, it's worth the upgrade.
And is there one major outstanding?
Biggest thing, EIS.
Electronic Image Stabilization.
Correct.
Yes. Electronic Image Stabilization. There it is.
So none of the previous models had any kind of stabilization. Now, we didn't really care. It's kind of cool actually to not have it stabilized when you're running down a road and your head's shaking, and the video actually looks more dramatic.
It's very handheld.
They're handheld. Like if you watch Law and Order, it's that style.
Right.
But go watch some of our crashes on the Transamerica Trail, and you'll see how dramatic it is without stabilization.
That's true. And it does get a little jittery, and on occasion, depending on the emotion of the scene, etc. So we're getting into editing, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine, and it works.
Yeah.
We really used it as an accessory camera, a secondary camera to the GoPros we were using.
Correct.
But more importantly, we're using it because we can talk to each other.
Correct.
Now, that's the thing that makes me decide that I would like to upgrade.
Second big word, mesh.
Mesh. Yes. No mesh, mesh.
Yeah, so that's the other big reason for upgrading. The old style devices used Bluetooth to connect. And if you're riding along and you get a little distance between you,
or obstruction,
or
around
a hill,
a curve,
you get pops, and the audio just gets.
Hey Chris, where are you going? Stop! You're about. Oh well.
Yeah.
Gone.
But it gets crackly. The audio gets crackly.
For the longest time, we thought it was a strap hitting or some kind of electronic crackle because there was a wire that was forever.
Yeah.
Like for a year, we were trying to figure this out. Taking them out, putting them in, replacing the headsets, replacing the microphones, and come to find out,
resetting.
it's just Bluetooth craziness.
Bluetooth, yep. So the mesh cleans up the audio, which is absolutely awesome.
That's good.
And it allows more riders to connect. Remember our trip up to Nova Scotia?
Yes.
We tried to bring Frankie.
It said that they can take 4, but it
Frank.
only takes 3.
Technically, on paper, it can connect 4 devices. You got to be sitting in a 10,
you have to be sitting around a table with your helmets on.
In the real world, 4 people,
not a chance.
You're going to drop somebody almost every time.
And I don't know if this theory is correct, but it also helps if the person who instigates the connection is in the center of the pack.
True.
Because it's got to go both ways. If he's at the front, there's a more likelihood that the guy at the back's not going to get it all. But anywho, that's old 2022, 21 technology.
20, whatever. But
last century.
Now listen, this is really cool. You were talking about the being in the middle and the back of the pack and stuff like that. The neat thing about the Sena 10, or excuse me, I keep stuck on the 10, the 50C is it has both Bluetooth and mesh.
Okay.
So if you're riding with a group of guys and some people have the old Bluetooth and some people have the new mesh, you become the matchmaker.
Now in our next trip, I think we may have a permutation of that scenario. We will have somebody with mesh.
Where are we going? Where's this trip?
Chattahoochee.
BDRX. Stick around for that episode, you guys. But that is correct. We might be incorporating that Bluetooth and mesh into the same. So we'll
get
be
back
able
to you.
Give you some real world experience on that.
Let's look at the form factor, unless you have a third or fourth top reason.
I mean, there's a lot
It's
of
4K.
little. There's a lot of. We'll talk about.
Everything is 4K, so.
Yeah. And I do want to give you a caveat, you guys. If you're going to use the electronic image stabilization, it's only available in 1080p.
That's right.
Not that big a deal. I mean, really, most of us are watching our YouTube videos on
the phone,
devices, or tablets.
Nobody can really tell.
And even so, you blow this up to 4K or 2K or whatever before you upload it to YouTube. Nobody's going to tell the difference in quality.
You might get some pixelation on that big of a jump, but if you ramp up 1080 to 2K, nobody knows.
Right.
Yep.
And of course, you always have the option of shooting 4K
Yes.
and just leaving the EIS turned off. So then you're back to where you were with this anyway, which we don't have a problem with. So
I also heard that because of the mesh system, the noise cancellation is extraordinary.
Oh, good. Okay.
In fact, I have heard some people exclaim that the noise cancellation is too good.
Oh.
You no longer hear anything else but your voice.
No bike
noise,
gurgle.
no wind noise, just silence. And so some people are having to put, for example, if you're a moto vlogger, you have this one and then you have another one, either facing you or facing out, and that other one is catching the natural sound audio, and they're having to mix it together. They say it's so good, but truthfully what you're trying to do, and I see their point, is you're trying to communicate with each other.
Right.
And so to have the best communication possible is to have the cleanest communication possible. Think of yourself as a pilot. You would want to know this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So in our particular case, if we want natural noise, we're going to have to pull it in from somewhere else, because this joker gets rid of it all.
Of course, we always have a GoPro on a handlebar or
we always have something going somewhere else.
You'll be able to get plenty of engine noise.
Sure. But that was just one of the observations, that the noise cancellation was just extraordinary
really
now.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You mentioned the form factor, so hold yours up. As you can tell, it is a little bit bigger, slightly larger than the old 10C Evo. Here's the antenna for the mesh. So for the
antenna, ain't that cute?
Has a cute little antenna, and you can turn the mesh on or off. So that's kind of cool.
Now, does the antenna have to be deployed?
No, but you get better range.
Got it.
Just like anything.
Sure.
I do like the silvery aluminum-like finish, which is kind of cool.
Better upgrade from the black?
Similar, just a styling thing.
Yep.
And the other thing that I'll mention as far as the function of the actual form is that the jog device I find much smoother than the old one.
I haven't even messed with it yet. Okay, so I can tell you that the divots...
Yes.
Hold on, let me find this
one again. There are more divots on
that
this one.
That one is lighter divots at
More spaced out.
Lighter divots at larger spacings.
And what that translates to, I immediately noticed this when I put it on, is instead of going, okay, 1, 2, 3, in terms of you have a limited number of volume settings, with so many more divots, you have much more you can fine tune the audio much better, the volume.
Gotcha.
Which I was really impressed with. I didn't know that had been improved, and so that was a nice surprise.
Okay. What else?
The record and camera button is now underneath instead of on top.
Okay.
Don't know if that makes a difference to anything.
It's gonna be a little getting used to, because when you reach up, it's gonna take a little bit of difference there.
But it honestly, it didn't take me long riding up here. I had no problem remembering that was down there.
Okay.
The camera to me does seem like it turns on slightly faster, which is nice. You know, this one, you're kind of
Does it still give you the same verbal prompt that says recording?
Recording. So that's really cool.
Now here's one that I had, it's not an issue with, but I would say that if I had to have redesigned it, this one, the horizontal adjustment, it is a slider. It's friction.
Yes.
I would have made it do tick, tick, tick to lock into a spot, because, you could bump it. You're cleaning it, as like when we're going down the road, every once in a while, one of us in the group will go, clean your lenses.
Right.
And we'll reach up and we'll do the thing. Right. And, now you're going down the road at a 30-degree angle. So I'm wondering, did they?
No.
Oh, but it's very stiff.
It's very stiff, and it's kind of recessed. As you see, it's got this little lip right here. The other
this one is not
right
recessed. It's right out front there, so you can bump it. Okay.
So I think they did try to
look at that.
Take some feedback. And,
I like it. Because this is my first experience in person with this thing.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing that you are going to absolutely love.
Okay, I can guess.
You can guess?
I'm already guessing.
It is USB-C.
Is that in that camera right there? There we go. Yeah, make sure that's in that camera right there.
Yep. Sorry.
Yep.
So one thing that you are going to absolutely love is it's USB-C.
Oh, see, now we're integrating with everything else that is on the bike, where we have
this is mini or micro USB.
Yes.
So you got to carry 2 cables.
Yes.
You got to get your phone charger. Yes. You got to get your GoPro charger. Now I got to carry a USB-C cable. So
and I noticed too that they have. Okay, so this is a good one. Maybe we'll see how well it stays plugged in, because prior on this one, the charging hole was on the top.
Yep.
Which means, just as an aside, rain. Right?
Goes in there if it's not covered.
If it's on the bottom, well, even if you can't charge it while it's raining, because you have you might have to get the rain in there, right? Yeah. And then oftentimes when we're riding around and I pull it out and I try to push the rubber thing back in there, it's just not even. It's not doing it. But on the bottom,
it's a little better protected.
Smarter.
Yeah.
Smarter.
What else? I will tell you another thing that I was very impressed with is that it uses the same connecting system to the speakers.
So you were able to keep your original speakers?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now I did upgrade my speakers to the HD when they came out.
Correct.
What's this got?
So the 50C comes with the HD speakers already included. With the Sena 10C Evo, it came with a set of speakers, less quality. I found them to have less bass, not as much range, and not as loud either. And so they gave you the option. You could upgrade to what they called. What do they call that?
HD.
The HD speakers. Yeah. So you could purchase HD speakers and upgrade.
And they were better.
And they were a lot better.
I like the deeper tones that it gives you.
Correct.
Like when you're riding on a motorcycle, as you know, the wind noise and all of those high frequencies can start draining on you. But and then if you add on top of that a squeaky little something in your ear trying to listen to your radio and you can't hear any of the drum beats or the bass, and you're missing something. The HD did upgrade that.
Correct.
Which was significant.
So that's one nice thing. It comes with the HD speakers, but if you have a helmet already has the HD speakers in it, then you don't have to swap out the speakers if you don't want to. The speakers are Harman Kardon, which we all know is a fantastic brand. Now I have a road helmet that I often will use if I'm just doing road riding. And it had the older speakers. So I took my Harman Kardon speakers out of this one and put it into that helmet and kept the HD speakers, which I had already upgraded in here.
Gotcha. Now, let me see that for a second. Is this, yes it is. So can keep this mount on your road helmet and then switch it out just because it has the same plug with the headset. Ta-da.
Now, one thing to note is that it does ship with several mounts.
Okay.
This is the mount that allows you to rotate up and down. It's got a little swing arm in there. It ships with both that and, yours is the same, but it ships with one that doesn't have that rotating feature. So technically, you could put one of the mounts on,
fair enough.
on a helmet anyway. But I already had the other mount mounted from my previous 10C Evo.
Fantastic.
So.
Do we need to go through any technicals? Most people they set it and forget it. Like auto, does it have settings for the camera for brightness and darkness and white balance and all that goofy stuff in the app?
Well, why don't we do this? Let's look through the app in just a second. But before we do that, we should probably back up and tell you why we love this particular device as opposed to using a chin mount GoPro or something like that.
What's your reason?
So one thing to note, this is a unique device in the entire industry. Nobody else makes this type of a device where you're factoring in an audio communicator. Lots of companies make audio communicators. You know, a lot of people like Cardo, a lot of people like Sena. There's lots of different brands. But none of the other brands make one that also includes an action camera. So this is the only one on the market. And so you have an action camera built in to your audio communicator.
Gotcha.
The biggest plus about that is you don't have to run wires and deal with adapters with your GoPro to get audio. A lot of times people will moto vlog with a GoPro on their chin mount, but they've got to run a wire and a little lavalier mic inside, and all they can hear on their camera is themselves talking. If they are connected with their audio device, their communicator with somebody else, and they're riding with somebody else, this microphone doesn't pick up that audio. So they have to run a separate mic to get that
earphone,
audio. It's a royal mess.
Yep.
This device solves all of that shenanigans, and you can record yourself talking. If you want to just moto vlog, you can record your conversation with the other riders, so it will hear the other riders speaking with you.
Right.
You guys have seen all of our adventure videos. That's how
the way we run.
That's how we get all our audio. And of course, it has an action camera built in that is synced with that audio. Now, if you want to, merge in 2 or 3 other cameras, other like a camera facing you and so on, you can sync it up with that. But the nice thing is you already have audio connected directly to the video that's attached to this. On top of all of that,
there's more?
It has an FM radio built in with 10 presets. So I have my favorite radio stations built in.
Right.
I can punch. It keeps your top 3 phone numbers so you can speed dial people.
Neat.
It connects Bluetooth to your phone so you can still connect with all of your navigation features. You can also use it to listen to Pandora. All the things that you want to do. You can do Hey Google or Hey Siri. All of that good stuff still connects with this device. So you have all of that in one tiny little package. It really is unbelievable.
That was a pretty good elevator pitch.
I'm just saying, I get a lot of people who go,
you seem giddy.
A lot of people will say, man, those Sena 10C things and the 50C thing, they're expensive.
Yes.
Well, if you get a GoPro and then you get the adapter and then you get the phone mount and the thingy and and then you got to also get some sort of a communicator, all of that together combined, you're way above what this costs, and it's all built in.
Right. So if you're going to do all of that stuff, you might as well do it the simple way.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Up until now, the biggest downside is, yes, it has all that stuff, but it doesn't have image stabilization.
Okay. Well, now we're talking about that.
Now,
4K and image stabilization choices.
Right.
And mesh and all that.
But now, with the new 50C having image stabilization and mesh,
That's it.
It gets rid of all of the problems that naysayers, were like, wow, yeah, that's a nice device, but it doesn't have EIS, or it doesn't have mesh. Now, that's gone.
Well, now can we go see the app?
You want to see the app? Yes. Let's
because
take
that's
a look.
where everything's controlled.
Okay, I'll show you what I've got on the app.
All right, we move the camera so everybody can see your hands.
Thanks, very good.
Yep.
So first thing you want to do is download the Sena motorcycle app, and this is a basic screen, what the motorcycle app looks like. We can go to home here. You can turn the mesh on or off, of course. You can start or record music. There's the FM station if you, the FM if you want to do that. These are the Bluetooth connections. I haven't connected with you yet, so we'll add those here in just a second.
Mine's still on the way.
Yours is still on the way, but I could connect with your old Bluetooth one, of course. Now, one cool thing about the way they've designed this is you can actually scan a QR code in order to connect with other, for pairing purposes. Makes it a lot easier than hitting the button and waiting for the other person to hit their button and so on and so forth.
Sure.
But then you hit the wrench, of course, and that's where you get all of your other stuff. You can update the firmware, which I have done, and then here's all of the audio settings. You've got audio boost, which you want on. This is kind of neat. You can change the balance, so if you want it to be emphasizing the voice over the regular music, you can do that. Or if you only listen to music, then you can do that if you don't actually talk.
Gotcha.
Smart volume control, you can do different things with that. The FM radio, that's where you can see all of the different regions that you can set this to.
You listen to your Africa music?
I could.
That's what I'm saying. That's neat. Go ahead.
HD, you want to definitely have the HD on. Audio intercom overlay sensitivity. There's just a lot of different things that you can turn on or off. These are the settings that I have mine set to. HD voice, you definitely want that turned on. Advanced noise control, that's what you were talking about. We could probably turn that off if we wanted to get some of the audio from...
We'll have to do a test.
Yeah, we can do a test. Voice commands, you can do all kinds of things like hey Sena volume up, hey Sena volume down, check battery, all that stuff. So there's all kinds of ways you can do this without using your hands, which is really cool. Oh, and you can also rename your device. So when you get it, it's just got a generic name in there. This way, when Jason and Steve and other people connect to me, they know that this is my device, and they can separate it so they know whose is whose. Move on over to the intercom. Again, here's where the mesh and the Bluetooth intercoms are, so you can connect them and you'll be able to visually see who's connected to you or who you can connect with because they've been paired. Going over to the audio, there's all kinds of different things that you can set up in the audio as well. And then in the phone, you can tell you've got your speed dials programmed in there. My wife is number 1. Guess who number 2 is?
That would be me.
And Steve, of course, is number 3 because we always ride together. But let's do this. Let's open the camera app. So this is an app that we want to definitely look at. And the camera app looks like this. Connect camera, 50C. Make sure the power is turned on the device. Hit next. Let's turn the camera on. Could you hear that?
I did.
Camera on. Next, and then we're going to go to the Wi-Fi settings. In order to use the camera, you're going to need to connect through Wi-Fi. And I've already connected the Wi-Fi settings, so it's already come up and checking the quality, of course. So now I'm connected with Wi-Fi to the camera, and I can go back to my settings, and the date has magically been updated, which is nice. But here's a neat thing about this particular app is now I can level the camera. So I can set the camera up and then change the leveling option, the lever here, so that I can make sure that that's the way I want it to be and make sure that it's pointed in the right direction. And you can do this while the helmet is on your head. So you can be looking around and then make adjustments and use the phone to get instant feedback. And then of course you can take a picture right here by pressing that. Or you can start or stop recording right here. I've got it set to normal recording mode. You can also use time-lapse or loop recording. Loop recording is a really good option if you're going to use your Sena 10C primarily as a dash cam. So if you want to always have it running while you're riding, just in case you're ever hit or in an accident, loop recording, it just records over the oldest video clip as it gets to the end of the memory.
And if you do find yourself in an accident, we suggest that you call Rick Stewart, 1-855-GET-MOTO, scmotolawyer.com. I wonder if Rick Stewart wears a Sena or has a traffic cam or a dash cam or something. Because if he did, he would have to call himself if he got into an accident. 1-855-GET-MOTO, Rick Stewart, scmotolawyer.com. Now back to Chris.
Moving on, we'll hit the wrench, and then there's all kinds of settings that you can go through in that. You can have the date caption appear on the bottom of your video if you want. You can change the date format. You can do all kinds of different things. How long it takes for it to go to sleep. I just leave it at the default where it goes to sleep after 5 minutes. That way it saves some battery. You can change the resolutions. I will let you know that, as I mentioned earlier, the electronic image stabilization is only available in 1080p. So I'm currently using 1080p with 60 frames per second. And a lot of the other riders that I've talked to who have the Sena 50C, that's what they seem to prefer. But as you can see here, we can easily go up to 4K as well. You can play with the microphone gain if you want. I leave it at medium, but if, let's say, we connect and my microphone seems to be lower or weaker than Jason's and Steve's, one of us, we can always change that gain up or down.
Easier than the person listening having to decrease and increase the volume depending on who is talking. You can do it from the source.
You can do it yourself, exactly. And of course, you always want to format your SD card before you start a trip or what have you. So you can format the SD card directly from the app instead of having to use the buttons on the device. Although you could do it either way. Just have to memorize the sequence of buttons so that you know how to do it.
Yes.
Back to the main menu, and the other cool part is you can review all of your footage. So here's some video clips that I shot, and you can pull those up, play them back, delete video footage that you don't want to use, and upload videos to the cloud. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with this. Of course, you're just reviewing a gallery of the images and video that you've shot. So you can access them through the app pretty easily.
Neat.
Yeah.
Now can we go ride and test them?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I am recording on both.
Sweet. I am recording on both. The Oaks Private School is an accredited school catering to families who want to educate their children in their own home. The Oaks Private School, or TOPS, provides a transcript and a diploma that is accepted by universities worldwide as well as the U.S. military. TOPS offers a wide variety of curricula to fit the learning style of each student, whether it's an online or a traditional style. So please check out their website at www.theoaksprivateschool.com to learn more or to set up a counseling session with one of their professionals. Hey Jason.
Hey Chris.
Doesn't that exhaust sound amazing on my bike?
Yeah, you're the one in love with the exhaust, my friend. You're the one in love with the exhaust. I will say, though, I do like the deep-throatedness of your exhaust better than the high-pitched whine of mine, to tell you the truth about it. Now, everything else about it, I like mine better, but... All right, so here we go.
Let's do it. This will be a good test. A little bit of backlighting here for the camera.
Let me get up close to you.
Yeah. Remember, all of these action cameras are wide-angle lenses, so if you really want to make a dynamic video, you have to be riding pretty close to each other.
Yes, and I'm going to try to reach up here and make sure my horizon level is appropriate. It might not be because I didn't check it before we left, but all right, so here's what we've got going on. You are up there shooting in 1080 with the stabilization on.
Correct.
I am back here shooting in 1080 30 or 1080 60 with no image stabilization at all.
Correct, and that's also the 10C Evo, and mine is the 50C.
Correct.
So, what do you think of the quality difference between the two cameras? And do you like the image stabilization?
Yes, if you keep your eye on the center of the screen here, where I'm pointing my Sena at Chris, we can see how the stabilization is going as I'm holding my head very, very still. Now, let's not hold my head very, very still and see what happens. I'm just going to like bobblehead it. And this is the bobbleheading. I'm bobbling.
Why don't you pull in front of me and then I'll do the same?
I can do that. I would like to do one more test real quick about something that I've heard somebody say with the stabilization, is that it does very well if you're doing what you're supposed to do and holding your camera still. However, if you turn your head left and right quickly, it hits the edge of the stabilization window and it takes a second to catch up. So we're going to turn our heads to the left in 3, 2, 1, turn. and back to the front into 1 turn. So did it do it? Let's do it to the right in 3, 2, 1 turn, and 2, 1 back. Now, how did that look? Did one catch up and one go slow? Did the stabilization get quirky? It's kind of an interesting little test. Now, I can get in front of you.
All right, I'll slow down, pull over. Run through the same tests. So Jason is riding in front of me. I'm just holding my head the way I normally do. He's right directly in front of me, of course. So is he nice and stable? What do you think? And we'll do the reverse again. Turn your head to the left in 3, 2, 1, go. And 3, 2, 1, back. You almost got run over by a Mercedes.
Now we got to do a U-E, go back the other direction. So I'm going to turn in here to the left, and just do a U-E real quick.
And why don't we switch then to 4K?
4K. All right, let's do that.
Alrighty. Woo, that sun's bright. With had an Insta up there.
Uh-huh.
Haha. Okie dokie, now we have switched the resolution of our cameras to the 2160 at 30 frames per second. That would be 4K, and neither one of us have image stabilization. How's it look?
I don't know if they can even tell. I mean, 4K with 2 really good devices. I mean, this one's a little bit newer, so maybe they used a better chip. Who knows?
And we're heading directly into the sun, so that will cause a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I'm sure the picture quality is terrible right now. We really should be turning around and redoing the same route we did first time.
We can do that. We'll go up here and do so. But while we're doing that, I'm going to give it the bobblehead test.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to turn around where it makes sense. And then we can go back. Here's where it makes sense. Turning around. And we'll go back with the suns to our back. Going ahead and going for it. And you can get in front of me this time.
All right.
That's a funky looking house.
While we're heading back and reorienting ourselves, how's the audio?
Man, the audio sounds good, but you know, I haven't got the mesh system in place, so we're going straight off of Bluetooth. But it does sound good because we are standing or riding really close to each other,
yep.
And there are no barriers in between us, and
there's only 2 of us.
So I would suspect that it would be, you know, adequate. Now, that being said, it would be interesting to be able to do a comparison with the flip of a switch to see if the mesh is any better, but I'll try to remember how this sounds when it's time to do the comparison when I get my mesh.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. In a future video, we'll compare the audio quality with mesh.
Because right now, I do have my visor up a little bit, which means that the audio canceling of yours and the audio canceling of mine is going to be quite different.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
cool.
That's a decent test.
Let's go back and do a wrap-up, and thanks for watching.
Hurry up while the sun's behind a cloud.
Well, there you go, you guys. That was a fun little ride. What did you think? Did you like the image stabilization on the Sena 50C? Or did you like the 4K version?
Well, it is a comparison between the old and the new.
Yep.
I guess the objective decision-making process is here, is it worth the upgrade, right?
That's a question only you can make.
I can't wait, actually, because we haven't looked at this except on a teeny tiny little screen. I can't wait to get this back into the edit bay and see what it looks like on a big screen and hear what it sounds like, which you guys have already done, and I'm jealous.
Leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. And in the meantime, Jason will do his fine picking with a comb thing that he does on his big monitor. But I'm pretty impressed. I really like it. I upgraded. So let us know if you've decided to upgrade to the 50C and what your favorite feature is.
So give us a like, a subscribe, hit us up in the comments if you like the review or you actually have one of these and like the 50C. There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hurry home because you know what? There might be one on my porch right now.
Yeah, yours is supposed to arrive
I know. So what are we hanging around for? Let's go.
Let's sit outside and take a motorcycle ride across the beautiful countryside. chase the sunrise, ride